Now to some other big headlines. Venezuelan leader Nicolas Maduro has been sworn in for a third term as president, despite widespread doubts over the legitimacy of the country's election results. Many world leaders, including President Biden, are refusing to recognize Maduro as the country's duly elected president. And this isn't the first time Maduro has come under international scrutiny. The U.S. and other nations also condemned his 2018 re-election as illegitimate. Meantime, we're also monitoring the situation in Sudan. This week, the U.S. determined the Sudanese rebel group RSF has committed genocide amid the ongoing civil war there. CBS News national security contributor Sam Vinograd joins us now for what is a regular weekly national security wrap. Sam, great to have you on the program. Let's begin with what's happening in Venezuela. What kind of responses are we seeing from the U.S. and others to Maduro's inauguration?
Well, Maduro was sworn in on Friday for another 6-year term, and the U.S. responded quite significantly also on Friday with a set of punitive measures against Maduro and his cronies. For starters, the United States increased the reward against Maduro and some of his senior officials for narcotics trafficking and other illicit activities. In addition to that, the United States Treasury Department rolled out sanctions against 8 individuals in the security and economic sectors for their role in supporting Maduro's, quote, illegitimate claim to power. At the same time, additional visa restrictions were rolled out against individuals accused of undermining the electoral process in Venezuela. On the flip side, this past week, the United States also announced, the Biden administration announced, that they were extending what is known as temporary protected status for over 600,000 Venezuelans who've been in the country since July of 2023. We should likely expect increased punitive measures against the Maduro regime as well by the Trump administration, who has condemned a lot of the activities that Maduro has implemented against his people.
So that's one major issue happening in South America. Let's turn now to the African continent and Sudan. The genocide the U.S. has acknowledged is taking place there. What are the allegations the U.S. is making against the Rapid Support Forces, or RSF? And what can you tell us about the humanitarian situation as it unfolds?
Well, let's start with the context. Sudan has been locked in a brutal civil war since April of 2023, pitting the Sudanese military against a paramilitary force known as the Rapid Support Forces, or the RSF. This civil war has had devastating consequences. Tens of thousands of people have been killed, 11 million people forced to flee their homes, and 30 million people, this is all according to the UN, in need of humanitarian assistance, including hundreds of thousands facing famine. Against this really dire backdrop, the United States State Department, after months of deliberation, signed off on a declaration of genocide perpetuated by the RSF. They also sanctioned the leader of the RSF for his activities. Amongst the accusations against the RSF are ethnically targeted violence in the region of Darfur. Now, interestingly, under international law, the genocide declaration does not require any specific actions by the United States, but it should draw more scrutiny to the actions of the RSF and the actions of the United Arab Emirates, who has been supplying supplies and weapons to the RSF for several months now.
That's a very significant note. Important things viewers should be aware of, considering our attention has been elsewhere this week. Sam Vinograd, thank you so much for that.
Thank you.